Today I'm going to be learning about German stereotypes by watching this video. It's called You Know You're German When 10 Hilariously True Stereotypes About Germans. So yeah, again, you can tell me if you think these are true, if any of these apply to you. Yeah, let's watch and learn.
Oh my god, what you're doing right now is so German. Hello everyone, it is a beautiful and sunny day here in Düsseldorf, Germany, and I am so excited that spring is just around the corner. And while I should probably get outside and enjoy some of this fresh air, I was inspired by a few of your comments and I thought, you know what? Let's just make this video right now because I have come up with so many different ideas as to what makes somebody really German. And I always find it super interesting when I'm having a conversation with my friends or my family here in Germany and then somebody stops someone and says, what you're doing right now is so German. So listen up, I hope some of these make you laugh. Let me know in the comment section below if you totally agree, or perhaps if you have some more to add to the list. If you don't know me yet, my name is Jenna. I am an international who's been living here in Germany since 2014. I come from Toronto, Canada, and over the last years, I have been building up an extensive welcome program for everybody who is thinking or planning a move here to Germany. If you want to check that out, you can go to lifeingermany.com. Otherwise, let's get started. So, number one. You are so totally German if you start counting with your thumb rather than your pointer finger. And this is what inspired me to make this video, is because a lot of you have said, oh my god, Jenna, you've already turned so German and you don't even know it, because every time I'm counting or telling you guys something, I always start with my thumb now. That is something I never used to do back in Canada, and I've just somehow, I don't know how, slowly adapted it here in Germany. And if you do this too, then you are so obviously 100% German.
Do you do that? Like, I never really thought about that. When you count with your hands, it just kind of is, for me it's just natural. Use your pointer finger, count like that. But yeah, I never knew there would be regional or country differences. Do you use your thumb to start counting?
Two would have to be when you are flying somewhere, you're going on vacation and you're so excited and the plane lands and everything's silent, and then the Germans all of a sudden start
I've seen people do
clapping.
that before.
Germans clap
in certain
every
countries.
time a plane lands. Every time I go somewhere where I know there's a lot of Germans on the airplane, I just like sit back and I'm like, are they gonna do it? Are they gonna do it? And then sometimes
Does
I'm
it
like,
always
oh
happen?
my god, they didn't clap, but like 2 seconds later, of course. I don't know why Germans do it. Let me know if you know any other countries or cultures that like to clap when the plane lands, because I don't really think that we do this often in North America, because the way that I interpret that clap is like, yay, you didn't kill us.
Yeah,
but
that's what it
still,
seems like,
I
actually.
really love it, and I think it's super cute that Germans love to do this every time a plane lands. Number three, and I have to say, some of you guys might hate me for this, especially if you're German, and I don't mean this in a rude way, but it's just something over the years that I've really noticed, and that sometimes it even like mind boggles me that it happens, but okay, I'll let you know. I've always thought that when a restaurant is empty, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's poor quality or that it's a crappy restaurant. It just means that perhaps it's not been discovered yet, or maybe it's brand new. But I find with my German family and my German friends here, and pretty much everybody else, that there are lineups out the door for some restaurants that, in my opinion, absolutely suck. And for so long I questioned, you know, why is there such a long lineup if the food is not even that good quality? And over the years, I've actually started to notice that as soon as one person goes somewhere, you'll notice another person will come, and then another person will come. And it's almost like in Germany, people trust a restaurant more so if it's busy, so then they see that there's people in there and they're like, oh my god, let's go, you know, it must be delicious. And I think it just kind of escalates from there. Of course, at the beginning for a restaurant, you have to have good marketing to get the people in the door, but I've walked past restaurants that have like never been visited, you know, they're always empty, and then I say, you know what, let's go in there, give them a shot, and you know, I'd say like 75–80% of the time, it's usually pretty fantastic. And then I ask, you know, why isn't it so busy? And they usually say, we've just opened and nobody knows about us and we don't know how to push or market ourselves, and it doesn't really give them a fair shot at the game. So whenever I go in there, I always notice you've got like the Germans, you know, peeking in the window to see if anybody else is there. And then they see you and they consider going in, and then they'll see maybe another person go in because they saw us, and then they'll go in. It just kind of like follows suit that way. And there has honestly, I'm not lying to you guys, been times where I have been the only person with my husband or my friends in a restaurant, and then people purposely come in because they've seen us in there, because then they think, oh, well, somebody else is in there, it must be good. Maybe you don't all think that, or maybe that's not the reason why you're going in. It could also be because I find that many Germans don't like to make small talk, and maybe perhaps, I don't know, if the restaurant's empty, they think we're gonna be the only ones in there and it's gonna be super weird and we're gonna have to make small talk. I'm not sure. Maybe that's what they're thinking. Maybe that's what you guys are thinking. Let me know in the comment section below if I am bang on, or perhaps there's another reason why you don't go into empty restaurants. But let me know. I'm super curious.
Yeah, I'm more like interested in the one you follow in the queue. Like, it's interesting in Asia, Singaporean people have that reputation as well, as like if they see a queue, no matter what it's for, restaurant or not, they'll just join the queue because they think it's like something important or something they don't want to miss out. It's like a part of the personality. I never knew that was a thing in Germany as well. For me, I'm the opposite. If I see a queue, actually, I will just never queue for food, man. There's never food that is like blown me away that much that I'm like, okay, I'll wait like in a queue 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever for it. If it's somewhere you can give a phone number, you go somewhere else and they call you, I don't mind that. But it's, yeah, like, I just want to eat, man. There's so many restaurants, so many good restaurants as well. For me, it's just I want to get in there and eat straight away. But is that something you've ever found yourself doing, like being drawn to a queue and like joining the queue just because you want to see what it's like, or you think it's good because of that?
4 would be that Germans love to have one last drink before they head home. And there is actually a word for this in German. It is called Absacker. And this is actually one of the first words I learned when I came here to Germany, because in almost any social setting, when my husband took me out to go meet his friends or his family, at the end of the night, they would always say, komm, wir trinken einen letzten Absacker und dann können wir gehen. This was always the case for me every time we went out. And I have to admit, I really love the idea of having one last drink or something to end the night or wind down before you say your goodbyes or before you go to bed. And while we're on the topic of drinking or having one last drink, Germans also love to look each other in the eyes when they're cheersing. Prost! Or, as some like to say, zum Wohl. Anyway, I really think that this is a really cool and personable, more, I don't know, affectionate way of saying cheers.
More respectful,
and I really like
guess.
it. And to be honest, it also kind of bugs me when I go back home and we cheers and people are just like, yeah, cheers, cheers, cheers. And they're not even looking at me. It almost like offends me now. Does anybody else feel the same way? You know your German when. Actually, I might say you know you're a Düsseldorfer when, or maybe a Berliner, because I'm not sure if this applies to every single city or town in Germany, but definitely in the larger cities. You know your German when you consider Döner to be fast food. So when we talk about fast food in North America, it's usually like I'm going to McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King or whatever. But here, a lot of the time when we think of just like picking something up for the road, or you're hungry and you don't know what to get and it's last minute or it's late or you're hungover, you usually go out for Döner. And I really like it. I think it's really cool. And when I ask my German husband if he had to pick one thing that he had to eat for the rest of his life, he always says Döner, because he's always like, you know, there's cheese in there and you've got your bread, you know, your carbs and your salad and your veggies and your meat. What else could be better?
A perfectly balanced
The
meal.
next one would be, if you have managed to master the checkout system at the grocery store, or the grocery store system in general, then you have definitely, my friend, turned German. That means if there is a long lineup in the grocery store and you are waiting there, you don't mind confidently yelling, "Can we open up another lane over here?" I still have not mastered that, and I think that like it's super ballsy and pretty cool that people are confident enough to be like, "I'm waiting so long over here, please open up another lane." But I mean,
Is that what
I'm
people
usually
do?
always
I
really
couldn't
thankful
do
that
that.
someone does it, and I'm just like, oh, at least it didn't have to be me. But if you can do this, or you know how to super quickly race to the next checkout line as soon as it opens up, then you're German. Okay, the next one, and I have mentioned this more than a couple times in multiple videos, and that is, you have definitely been Germanized if you need fresh air in your apartment or in your house, and you are constantly searching for that frische Luft, and you're opening up the windows even in the middle of the winter time, well, this is definitely something that is super, super German. I don't go insane with it, as insane as my husband does, being a German, but I definitely also really, really like having some fresh air go through my house. And again, I've talked about this before, so we don't need to go into detail about it here. If dinner for one makes you laugh out loud, and every single New Year's Eve this is something that you look forward to, then you're definitely German. I mean, I know a lot of Germans watching this are probably going to be like, okay, you know, that's not something we do, and I don't laugh at it anymore, but it is so stereotypical German to watch dinner for one every single New Year's Eve, and if you haven't heard of dinner one before, well, then you really haven't spent that long in Germany, at least not over the course of a New Year's Eve. But Dinner for One is basically a short comedy script that was created by a British author, and it is obviously very easy to understand. It is in English. It was released in 1963, I believe, so it's a black and white film, but nonetheless, it is very, very funny and very, very stereotypical Deutsch. And lastly, the almighty Tatort. If you are a fan of Tatort, then you have 100% completely pretty much integrated here in Germany. Tatort is a German police crime series that are aired every Sunday at 8:15 p.m. And a lot of Germans, I find, like every time they watch Tatort, they'll be like, oh my god, did you see last night's show? They filmed it in Düsseldorf, or they filmed it in Munich. And then when it's your city, you get so excited. I know, like, even my husband doesn't really watch TV that often, and to be honest, he doesn't really watch Tatort, but he definitely used to. Like, I find Germans at some point in their life were hooked on Tatort, whether that's now or way back when, but it's still a very, very popular thing to watch, and he still gets super excited every time one of the shows is filmed in or around Düsseldorf. And if you're not a Tatort fan and you're German, you're probably likely still going to be sitting in front of the television at 8:15 sharp every Sunday, because if it's not Tatort, then they're usually playing videos, like an old released video on multiple different channels on TV at 8:15. Or you're part of the younger generation and you're hooked on Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever, but a lot of Germans still love Tatort, or still love just sitting, relaxing at 8:15 on a Sunday evening and watching a nice movie. So what do you think? Do you have any more that you would add to this list if you've lived in Germany, or if you know some Germans, or if you are German yourself? This is something that I find really, really interesting. And
yeah, tell me what you think about them. I've never heard of that show, Tatort. I'll need to look for, try and find some videos to watch. If you know of any good like episodes or moments from it, recommend them. But yeah, I've watched quite a few different German shows, so it'll be interesting and cool to find out a new one and enjoy that. But yeah, tell me what you think about those. Yeah, obviously some of those things I've heard before, some I've not, so you can tell me if they apply to you, if apply to everybody in Germany or not. Yeah, tell me what you think. Thanks.